Well, I think it was just a matter of trying to help people and trying to do it in a very practical fashion. I think medical oncologists are many things, but especially practical people, trying to get to the point and solve problems. And I think that that's what mainly made me try to help others by being very practical and solving issues. So this is a new biomarker, if you wish, that still needs a lot of validation. However, what we've seen is that we could use this biomarker in order to assess the prognosis of the patients with non-small cell lung cancer. And not only that, but we are also working with the hospital in Zurich about how to use that in order to exploit it as a potential target against cancer. Well, I think the big challenge is always finding sufficient funding for being able to sustain your research. It's not only the problem of having the resources, but also the human samples to use in your research, and also setting up collaborations with others. That is probably the key of success in this setting. You know, what we do in Spain, we have several governmental institutions and funding sources that you can apply for. There are some other private foundations that you can also approach in order to get some funding. And of course, always the industry is a significant source of funding for these investigator-initiated trials. So yes, the answer is definitely yes. It is true that still we have very limited data. We only have some data coming from two different drugs. Both of them are anti-PD-1 drugs, monoclonal antibodies. One is pembrolizumab, the other one is nivolumab. With both drugs, what we have currently published out there is that both could be effective in those brain metastases from non-small cell lung cancer patients. And we still need some more data, especially for those other drugs acting on PD-L1. We have some indirect data coming from atezolizumab also, but all of them are very encouraging and definitely need to be investigated further in order to select patients for those drugs. So I would say that probably the good news is that the drugs are active and seem to protect patients from progression at that point. It also seems that they might be able to reduce the number of the appearance of new lesions in the brain over time. And the bad news, or the aspect in which we should be very careful, is the potential enhancement of the secondary effects from the neurological point of view. Mainly radionecrosis enhancement in patients that have been previously treated with radiation therapy for those lesions in the brain, and probably also brain edema. However, we don't have final data about that, and that is still work in progress. For me, the key to success is my family. That's my support. That's what is beneath the rest of the things, right? So I guess when you have that support at home, everything else is easy. It's tiring. You have to work a lot. You have to move from one part to another. You have to collaborate with others and be very active if you want to be productive, and if you want to take care of the patient. That is also very tiring. But however, you know, that's very that's something that really makes you happy, And if you have the support with your family, that's the key of success for me. So it's difficult to say, because you go back home and you still work with your computer, reviewing things and writing emails, and you know, I would say probably many more hours than recommended. So probably from 10 to 12 every single day, that is probably the average. I mean, you know, it's your way of life. I mean, if you want to make an impact on that, you really have to work hard and try to put a balance on that, but as well as you can provide the care that your loved ones need, you can always do everything if your time schedule is very well organized.